Hello, so I just made a delivery and this is going to be yet another quick word, but I pray that if you hear God and maybe you have a word to give to somebody, maybe it's really eating at you and you feel the compulsion of doing so. I recall reading about Smith Wigglesworth, who God had used in bringing healing to people, and his manner of doing so was quite interesting. You'd have to read about him, but it was really good. But I remember when he had a word for somebody, he went straight to them, and of course his demeanor was really up and direct. But I think he believed, like, when he was giving a word to somebody, he would walk on the road, somebody would say hi to him, and he wouldn't respond back because he didn't want anything to stop him from giving the word that he needed to give. And when he went to give that word, he went in to that person and told them what God had said to them. And he was direct. And I don't know, maybe his manner, didn't look like it was loving. But he left the room after giving the word, and then he came back and, he was his normal self. And that just shows the importance of, you know, doing what God has said. And I can understand that. But what I had learned in hearing God and giving words to people is that if you have a word to give to somebody, the question is it rooted from the flesh or is it rooted from the spirit and love? Do you have love for this person? Or is the word that you're giving them from a place of hate, from a place of dislike, from a place of lack of love? Are you irritated with the person? Has the person offended you in any way? Because if you give a word from each of those negative things, then you're tainting the word of God. You're not acting in love. And it says in 1 Corinthians 13 that if I do not have love, I am like a clanging cymbal. So when you have a word for somebody, make sure you're seeking God and that love is in place. Love should always be in place. If it's not in place, then put that word up on the shelf and seek God and let him soften your heart. Ask him for forgiveness for any offense or anything that would taint his word, because his words are important. If the scribes of the Old Testament, whenever they were dealing with the word of God, they had holy fear and reverence. If they made a mistake, they trashed the whole thing. It could be a complete scroll, but if they messed up on one, you know, word or whatever, they would get rid of the whole thing. So that's the same kind of reverence we need to have when we're giving the word to somebody. So I just wanted to share that with you. Thank you for taking the time to watch.